Hello, good morning. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. We are back on another edition of this program. It's Monday. How are you? How was your weekend? I mean, mine was okay. I mean, I spent most of my weekend at home and, doing one or two things, trying to cover up for the things that I have not done during the weekday. So it's good to be back here again, fresh and clean, and getting ready to roll. So wherever you're watching, thank you very much. It's a pleasure. I have Mr. Momodu Mboj as the co-host of this program. Mr. Mboj, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Tell us about your weekend.
Oh, I had a fantastic weekend. I met Ades somewhere, I don't need to mention names. And from there, I went somewhere else, but I was out till 5 or something.
Oh, my word.
So Mr. Ade Drame is the newspaper review guest. Mr. Ade, good morning.
Good morning, Balde. And it's. I always joke about the fact that my weekend is only Sunday because obviously Saturday is a working day till quite late. I rested, I relaxed. I did go for a drive and just to do some shopping later on, and then I watched football. Very boring.
What happened to Barcelona?
They lost to Real Madrid in what is called El Clasico.
Didn't Yamal play?
Yeah, he played, but
But I thought he was the new kid on the block.
So does that mean they win every game?
Even
Even when Messi was there, they didn't win every game against, and that's always a tough game for them, Real Madrid. And now Real Madrid have opened up a gap on them at the top of the Spanish La Liga, and it's going to be between those two teams yet again as to who's going to be champion. But it's looking interesting. Rashford, former Man United player, had an assist for thing. And the first time two Englishmen have faced each other in opposition. So you had Rashford for Barcelona and you had Bellingham who scored the winner for playing for Real Madrid. So it was Mbappe. I think he had 2 goals disallowed, but he had 1 which was allowed. And it was a good game.
I've seen a lot of my colleagues, I mean, my neighbors, I mean, some of my community friends, when it's time to watch football, they go to the video clubs where they enjoy watching football.
We still have, I guess we can still call them video clubs.
Yes.
Essentially, because I drove by a couple of places yesterday and people were crowded around 2 places, and one had about, I don't know, between 12 or 14 young men and the other about the same number.
Yeah.
And they were watching a TV.
Exactly.
They were outside because inside was already full.
Yeah.
And they were watching the game.
I think it's the ambience. You know, I have a friend too who got access to all these matches in his house.
Right.
But he prefer going to the video club. I asked him, why do you go to the video club?
Yeah, some people like that, the kind of ambience, as you said, the kind of camaraderie and the teasing and so on, and just the banter. It's all part of the kind of communal thing. I mean, when I was in the UK, some of the big games, some of my cousins who were Liverpool supporters, for example, if they were playing they would come to my house and we would watch the match together. Rather than we could all stay home and watch it.
I tried and tried.
In our individual
I've tried my best to love football, to get used to the game. But unfortunately, I cannot because I don't have the feeling for watching
Jogo Bonito, the beautiful game. But it's you either do or you don't. I mean, there's no, you don't have to. I mean, do you like any sports at all?
Yeah, I am more interested in
Basketball.
Watching people play
American,
basket.
Obviously not here because here the standard is very low. But America, I guess. But do you get the chance to watch much basketball? I know it's on all the time, and there's current matches on. I heard some of the results being read on BBC this morning. But yeah.
So, did you do any sports at school?
When I was going to school?
Well, I suspect not.
Probably not. He's the one who always claimed he was sick.
Exactly.
Every time.
And Mr. Momodu Mboj, I'll disappoint you. I play football.
You liar. Please.
They got me.
Please.
Mr. Ade, you got me there. Honestly, I mean, when it comes to sports,
you didn't run athletics, jump or anything?
No, I was more into just reading my books and going home.
No, I did that as well, but you know, for me it was a nice balance, because particularly when I went to boarding school and you had a gym, you had, for example, when I went to boarding school in Sierra Leone, we had tennis courts, we had basketball courts and a football field. And also it was a school where they were very much into studying. So that was a good balance. And when I went to England, it was the same. We had fantastic gym equipment and so on. So I played every sport you could name.
Wow.
Basketball, cricket, tennis,
you
football.
see, I went to St. Augustine's High School, and we are known to be the best when it comes to sports in the Gambia.
Is that right?
You know, we have the gym.
Back then.
Yeah, you must
in
know.
the 80s.
In the 80s.
So, yes. There was some competition afterward from Gambia High School or Muslim among the high schools then. Yes, but for a very long time it was just saints.
You can see a lot of extracurricular activities. The students carry them. You know, when it comes to inter-schools, inter-house, you know, we are always there to support our team. But
that was the Father Gough really philosophy of education. Sports being supplementary to a general education. So it was very much
there
integrated.
used to be even a music
department.
We used to have a music department.
And music as well.
Yeah. So he who envies another's joy forgets the taste of his own. Yeah,
that's our proverb. Do we know where it comes from? It's not.
It reminds me of the discussion that I had with someone. Very interesting discussion.
What was that?
And there was a guy we were just discussing. And he said to me, "Boy, do you realize, no matter how beautiful your wife is, you don't see the beauty." That's what he said to me. I said to him, "Then which beauty do you see?" He said, "You see the beauty of other people outside, and you feel more attractive." Can you imagine?
That's interesting, because once when Arsene Wenger and Jose Mourinho had their regular spats, and each one was defending their own team, I think it was Jose Mourinho who said, you know, each man believes he has the most beautiful wife at home. So, you know, so that's in contrast to what your friend said. But there is a tendency to kind of get wrapped up in being jealous about somebody else's success with either women or in work and so on, rather than appreciating what you have. And sometimes it can kind of eat you up, you know, and yeah, it rings true across, I think, many cultures. Really, appreciate what you have, and don't start looking over the fence and saying, "Oh,
but that sense of that,
and that's it, when you're consumed by it.
Yeah.
You
know,
you fail to appreciate.
You don't appreciate what you have. You're busy envying what someone else has.
And that's going to snatch away your peace as a human.
Well, it takes away your joy, and you don't have peace of mind, because you're busy always comparing yourself, you know, maybe negatively with what somebody else has, thinking, oh, I wish I had that, when you have a lot already. And it happens, and you see it. You see it a lot, yeah.
Mr. Mamadou.
That's the thing, isn't it?
But
when you compare, there's this very interesting poem. When you compare, either you'll become arrogant or the opposite of it. You'll feel small and insignificant. Because always there will be greater or lesser than you. Always, wherever you are, there will be greater or lesser. So just be content with what you have, as it were. So it's a very interesting one.
But I think someone just messaged me and said, my boyfriend, Mr. Mboch, the person liked Mr. Mboch so much. I mean,
oh really?
Yes, I mean the way Mr. Mboch analyzed, that's what she said. The way Mr. Mboch contribute when it comes to the program.
You should bring
She
her
just
and
said
introduce
my boyfriend. And this
introduce-
made me very jealous, you know.
Why?
Somebody just sent me a message. My boyfriend, Mr. Mboj. Mr. Mboj,
with all, you see, this is what we're talking about. With all the admirers he has, just the one that you have, and he's jealous.
Exactly.
maybe that
This is what
you never know. Maybe that is the admirer that I want to admire me. Mr. Mboj is taking that one away from me.
This is exactly what the proverb
is talking about.
Yeah. So I think envy and to be jealous could be different, Mr. Adedrame. You can be envious and, you know, forget about jealousy.
Envious is wanting something that somebody else has.
Yeah. But I think that's normal.
What? That
Well,
you want what someone else has?
It's normal to
If it
envy.
motivates you for you to go and build
It's
something
normal.
Then it's normal in that sense.
Yeah.
If it inspires you, if it as I think the right word, motivates you to go and do something, then yes. You know, but kind of jealousy is just you're just kind of consumed by, you know, and of course
the
there's a
fact that you
difference.
haven't got it,
Yeah,
the
you haven't
person's
got
got it.
Person has
That's
it.
it.
And of course, jealousy, of course, is different. Of course, particularly in personal relations. If you are a jealous husband, a jealous boyfriend, jealous wife, girlfriend, and so on, there's a different type of jealousy there, you know, and that's very different to envy. You know, that's very different to envy. So they're not really the same.
Exactly. So viewers will take a short break. Interesting headlines on the different papers. I believe we are going to discuss about the homecoming of former President Yahya Jammeh.
And the one homecoming that's not mentioned, which is surprisingly.
Which homecoming?
I don't see. Which homecoming, he says.
Former
Hussein Dabo.
Dabo.
Oh!
It's not
Dabo.
mentioned in, I don't see it in any other papers.
Yeah, but you see how Jammeh's coming, it's overshadowing Hussein Dabo's homecoming?
Well, indeed, that's the
Yes.
point.
So we'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll delve into that. We'll be back.
Opticalia, Gambia's leader in optical care with 5 locations offering the best in visual health. With cutting-edge European technology, Opticalia delivers single vision lenses in just 20 minutes. At Opticalia, we care about our future. Eye exams are free for individuals under 18, ensuring everyone has access to quality eye care. But it's not just about vision. Opticalia also provides advanced audiology services to ensure your hearing health is in the best hands. Our audiology services offer European standard hearing aids and diagnostics, ensuring everyone can hear clearly. Whether it's testing or treatment, you can trust Opticalia for your auditory care. Opticalia offers European standard products, fair prices, and exceptional value all under one roof. Visit Opticalia at the Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia or call us on 7767-121 or at any of our regional branches. Banjul 7767-126. Brikama 7767-123. Farafenyi 7767-124. Basse 7767-125. Opticalia. Love what you see and
Thank you very much. You are watching QTV this morning, and I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now let's move on to the Point newspaper on the main headline of the Point. After 9 years in exile, former President Jammeh vows to return next month. We have seen over the weekend, APRC NATO Alliance militant gathered in Kanelai, the former president's home village.
Can we just stop you there?
Yeah.
In English, that word is alliance.
Alliance, okay.
Alliance is kind of French.
Alliance.
So let's
okay.
stop
Alliance,
it.
yes.
It's alliance.
So,
Anyway,
thank you, Alliance.
please.
So what happened is there was a WhatsApp call, the same WhatsApp that former President Jammeh banned in this country during his time. He used, the conversation was projected via WhatsApp, and everybody was listening to it through a loudspeaker and an amplifier. Yes. So now, Mr. Adedrame, dogs can bark, but does that mean everybody should run away?
Dogs delight to bark and bite, for God has made them so. Yeah, I mean, it's not the first audio that he has put out claiming. About 5 years ago, they had one about return to State House nonsense. This is the latest one. Yeah, let him come back. You know, I saw his people in Kanilai sobbing and prostrating themselves in front of the audio.
I was really sort of disappointed when I saw
the imams,
religious leaders.
The imams, yes.
I mean,
bowing,
claiming to pray 2 rakah.
Yes,
I mean,
for him.
For this to be possible.
Yeah, yes.
I was really disappointed.
A lot of people have said that.
Honestly,
a lot.
It's telling you how we think as a people. Our education level. You know, it's not about wearing big haftans and portraying to be someone who have the understanding of the scripture, but how you carry out yourself in this kind of situation is the most important.
Yeah, I mean, the audio has gotten a lot of coverage, and as you've seen, it's made, I think, at least 2 of the newspapers. One of them has ignored it. I think Foroya has rightly ignored it, because we've heard it all before, and we'll hear it again. If he's going to come, just come.
The airport is open for him.
Yeah, just come, you know.
And
we'll see.
To some extent,
yeah.
well, you can't control the media, social media these days. But this is how he sort of tries to stay relevant.
Yeah.
For people to talk about him.
Well, that's
There's
it.
nothing. It's just noise.
Yes, and you know, and he's succeeded because now we're actually talking
Look
about
at
him.
We're talking about it.
Dude, if you're there and you're listening, if you want to come, come.
To me,
You know?
the only relevance he has is that when are we going to prosecute him? It's not an if, but when he's going to be prosecuted. That's the only relevance.
Yeah, and Jammeh is accused of committing heinous crimes, you know, and we all understand some of his victims are still alive. And, you know, those that are unalive, their families are still here. So we have seen how the international laws are dealing with some of his junglers. We've seen the Bailo case, we've seen other cases.
Korea in America.
You know, so Jammeh coming back to this country and be relevant people to go and worship him in Kanilai, well, I think that is just, you know, those are tales.
Well, was it Yankuba who said that they had immunity? And they obviously hadn't read the immunity clause, because the clause said quite clearly you had immunity for acts performed in the course of your duty as a minister. Ordering somebody's killing can hardly cover your duties as a minister. And I suspect if Jammeh thinks he has presidential immunity, then I think he'll find he's sadly mistaken. And of course, we've seen in other African countries where presidents have been prosecuted by international courts. And of course, Charles Taylor is banged up for life in Britain, to name one.
Yeah, I think I think the things that Jammeh was mentioning, it's the agreement that was signed. You know, he's supposed to leave for some time. The likes of Halifa Saleh have signed it, and even Chambers, is it Chambers?
Ibn Chambers.
Yes, Chambers signed it, and Alpha Conde of Guinea signed. You know, so those are the internal agreement stuff. You understand?
Well, let's be careful here with diplomatic language. We have certain names for what they call these things.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nothing is binding.
Yeah.
On anybody.
Well, in fact, I was about to give you the example of the agreement that they signed with Charles Taylor to give him asylum in Nigeria. The international bodies just said, that's nonsense. You can rip up that piece of paper. It doesn't mean anything. And he was arrested, prosecuted, and is now incarcerated. So yeah, I mean, you know, they can say you can go away, you know, for there to be peace and tranquility in the country because you're a destabilizing force. If he comes back, he's likely to still be a destabilizing force anyway. But more importantly, he's likely to be arrested.
Yeah, if he comes to this country, there is going to be two sections. I mean, the Kanilai area.
You have his supporters there.
You understand the Kanilai area, which the government cannot even have access to because he is at that end. So it will be more of a rivalry thing. You understand? So I think they should take a look at it, and there should be a holistic approach. Some of his audios, I think they are not very important, so one shouldn't even listen to it.
But you know, we listened to them, and now we're discussing them. We're giving him a lot of airtime, and more than we should, to be honest.
On a TV, on TVs that he refused to give license.
You know.
So then let's move on.
Yeah, quite.
So I mean, another return again. Lawyer Usainu Dabo, Baba, returned on the Saturday.
On Saturday, I was here.
You know,
and I saw the crowd.
Town was yellow.
Town was yellow.
Yes.
They always know how to get out a good crowd. UDP, I give them that. It's what we've come to expect. There's a bit of exaggeration because there was one online channel which said it was the biggest crowd ever assembled in the Gambia. Certainly not true. It was big, but they were.
I haven't seen the crowd.
Yes,
right.
And when I was leaving in the evening, I walked from Kiusal to traffic light.
Yeah.
Just to soak up that.
Just to get the vibe.
To get it. That's it.
Yeah.
But by then, this was around 8:30 or so. By then, people were just trooping out,
right.
Going home, trickling out.
Okay.
So yes, it looked like they had a good number.
They had a good turnout.
That's it. But what does that mean, though? In the end, what would that mean?
Yeah. One thing that I will recall and respect the UDP party for is loyalist. And they are very loyal, party militant, and very consistent in what they do. You understand? Although recently we've seen a lot of them cross-carpeting to NPP.
Some have defected.
But based on what? Okay, what indicator can I use?
Yeah.
Okay, for instance, 2021 presidential election. That was got 18% in it, something like that. Barrow 53 point something.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing it, this loyalty, you so-called loyalty, I didn't know. Parliamentary as well. I think the previous parliamentary elections, they had, 33 or so MPs, UDP?
That's right.
And then 2022 crashed, really, to what, 17, 15? I can't remember. Yeah. So I really don't see what you're talking about. If these are the key indicators that determine the strength of a party in a country.
Yeah. It's
well, I mean, nobody is going to deny. I mean, UDP, they have party loyalists, I mean, who are ready to die for that party. You know, I've listened to some of them. I've listened to their interviews. I mean, they've been with the party since 1996.
Yeah.
How significant are they?
Yeah, it's fine.
You have a few. You will always have a few diehards anywhere.
NPP is a new party, and yet they've already overtaken them in terms of seats. For all the loyalists that they have. You know, people say these things, die for the party. Why? Why? Is it the ideology? Is it the particular tribe that you belong to? What, die for it for what? What is that party going to do for you that you are prepared to die for it?
Can you imagine?
I mean, such a, please, you know.
I'm just recall now, Russell, Bertrand Russell's conversation with somebody. Somebody asked him, would you die for a cause? He said, certainly not. What if I was wrong? Extraordinary line. Humility. What if I was wrong? So you don't die for your cause, you live for it.
You can't.
So that you can implement it.
You can't die for a party. I mean, we see people literally dying for parties, right now in Cameroon, where Chiroma Bakari has told people to come out. Yesterday he issued a call for people to come out and protest, both in Cameroon and in the diaspora. And people came out, and of course the security services opened fire on them, and some people were killed. To be honest, I think he's behaved irresponsibly from day one, because for you to come out the next day after an election and say, I have won, when I think they'd counted like less than 5% of the votes, was highly irresponsible. And then on that same day, he made a statement that even the Constitutional Court, if they were to announce Biya as the winner, we will not respect that decision. That's the day after the election. And then yesterday now, he's issued a slightly tweaked version of it. I have it, I downloaded it upstairs, because we're likely to do a report on it, saying that he hopes the Constitutional Court will respect the will of the people. He then read out what he said were their versions of the tallying that had happened of the votes across the nation, and he said, I hope this is what will be announced by the Electoral Commission, ELECAM, and by the Constitutional Court. And he said what Biya should do is the decent thing and announce that someone else has won and congratulate the winner. He said the world will respect him forever. I don't think African
So what
presidents
happened? They
care.
didn't still count the...
They've almost finished, but they haven't announced any results. So they've been announcing in dribs and drabs. The first one they announced were the kind of diaspora voting.
And who was leading?
Chiroma won that hands down, like overwhelmingly. Well, a lot of Cameroonians outside the country were voting for him. It tends to happen with diasporas.
And do you think...
Senegal, the opposition now in government, won the diaspora. In Gambia, I suspect before 2017, if the diaspora had voted, most of them would not have voted for Jammeh.
True.
You know, and probably now, if I'm honest, maybe
They
most
might
of them
not
would
vote for
vote for
Barrow.
Barrow. So, yeah, you tend to get that with diaspora. Yeah.
So Mama Kande...
Hence, some people say, hence the lack of will.
Will to give the diaspora the vote.
To give the diaspora the vote.
Yeah.
Mama Kande also is warning
Alleging.
the IEC, you know. He gave a warning to IEC ahead of 2026 election.
And do you know why he gave that warning? Because he also said in that statement that he insists that the 2021 election was rigged. He hasn't provided any evidence, and I'm not sure what's stopping him from coming with his evidence. But if you're going to make such inflammatory statements, like seriously, bring your evidence or shut up, honestly, you know, because you're kind of inflaming a situation, and if you have your evidence, throw it there. Let's see it. Let's hear it. You know, but people make these statements, and just because you have a platform, you're kind of abusing your platform. You know, bring your evidence. Bring it. Simple, really.
That is what it is. So, I mean, enhancing Gambia through key relations, my people.
Your people.
Turkey relations.
Turkey.
Oh, I mean, Turkey.
Yeah.
We still call them Turkey here, but it's Turkey.
The British refuse to call them anything but Turkey.
Turkey.
Even though they asked everybody to now refer to them as Turkey.
Turkey.
But you know the Brits, they like to be different. You know, they still call it Turkey, you know. So you can't tell where they're talking about this bird that gets slaughtered at Christmas or the country. Same spelling, same pronunciation. You know, yeah.
All right, so NAWEC faces mounting challenges amid growing electricity demand in Greater Banjul area.
Bigger, you know, populations getting bigger. Demand for electricity increases. I don't know whether I mentioned it on here, that we had an incident last week when for almost a whole day we had no electricity, and everything in my fridge got spoiled, particularly the cheeses which got cooked, you know, because there was no electricity for quite, you know, for several hours. And so, yes, and, you know, living in the Greater Banjul area, as the population expands, the demand grows. And we're still struggling to cope with it. It's a shame, really, because we're not really a big country. And it shouldn't be a problem, but it is. Yeah, we're still waiting for the OMVG to kick in and give us 24-hour electricity.
Electricity.
Can you imagine? In most countries in Africa, there's not a guarantee that every single day you could go home, switch on the lights and they come on, turn on your tap and it comes on. In 2025, we're still having this conversation. It's embarrassing, honestly. And it's not just in Gambia, many other countries.
All over the continent.
It's like other continents are looking. I was like, what's wrong with these people? What is their problem? You know, honestly, it's.
Well, that's a crazy one. I think the issue of electricity should have been a thing of the past.
Yeah.
You know.
Certainly problems of electricity should have been a thing of the past.
If you can't run your institutions, you are not going to deliver any services.
You can't run industries
No.
without
You can't
decent
run
electricity
institutions.
supply. So, you know, and because one thing leads to the other, you know, poor governance in the institutions that are meant to do, you know, including some of the state-owned enterprises, because they're dysfunctional and they're the ones who are meant to be delivering this. If they're not run well, then the services they're meant to provide will not be.
Was there a
Provided
difference when the car power ship was around? Were we having stable electricity?
No, we had it for a while. I mean,
Some people say that yes, there's a difference. They were handling things better. And this person works in power. The other day when we spoke, he said there were certain things that car power were doing, car power was doing, but now they can't do it as well.
right.
So that's an interesting one when I had that conversation, because we were all thinking that it would be in our best interest for car power to leave, because they were just consuming so much money.
Right.
But again, what would replace it? As it were, that other question sort of kicks in.
Yeah.
And then in the end, it wouldn't seem as expensive as you thought, given what you're losing
What
after
you
they've
lose.
gone.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's an interesting one.
And car power also, they were off the coast of Freetown as well. They were providing electricity there, and you know, whilst they were there, for a while it was stable. But that's a short-term fix.
So on a different headline, Dabo urges all opposition to join UDP.
Well, it worked the last time.
Are you smelling a coalition?
Yeah, that's look. The noise around a coalition is building, and it's getting louder and louder. And the thing for the Gambia, you don't have to have a long memory to realize that it was a coalition that got rid of Jammeh. And you know, if people can put their egos aside, they might be able to form another coalition.
And do you know Jammeh underestimated the coalition in 2016?
People tend to. I think even now, because
there was a first coalition that happened before the 2016 election. There was a coalition, and they couldn't do anything about Jammeh. So I think he was taking it lightly again until this one happened.
I think he genuinely believed that he thought he was so well liked. He'd convinced himself that he thought there's no possibility of me being voted out. He had completely convinced himself that he would win, and as he said, you know, serve for 1,000 years if Allah wills it. He'd convinced himself of that, and so yes, he underestimated them, and you know, to his detriment.
That happened. So
And the coalition, let us be careful with the coalition. There was a unifier. Quite clear unifier, let's get rid of Jammeh.
That's it. That
was really what was the key.
Absolutely.
Everybody, we just got rid of Jammeh. Didn't care who was going to head the coalition or whatever. Let's just have a coalition and get rid of Jammeh.
That's it.
Now, this time, what would be the unifier?
Yeah, quite. Yeah.
Really, we haven't seen it yet. Because by then, Jammeh had really, we were just fed up.
Yeah, 22 years.
You know, our backs up the wall. Then that was it. That was it. Jammeh had to go.
So
I do not see any.
yeah, I think we wanted to get Jammeh to go. You know, that was the only motive.
Really?
That was the only focus that we had. But we were not planning ahead as to what is going to happen after when Jammeh leaves.
So it was an emergency.
So
you couldn't do that. You just want to get rid of that one. Then afterwards, you would worry about how things would unfold. But you couldn't possibly think about the future then.
No.
You just wanted to get rid of Jammeh.
Yeah. So we'll close this segment now. We are closing this segment. Thank you, Mr. Ade.
Thank you. I thought you were going to tell me that Yahya Jammeh was at our door and you were going to have him as the next guest or something.
It will be very interesting to see Yahya Jammeh landing at the Banjul International Airport. That will be another news again.
We shall be there.
All right, so viewers, this is all we have for the newspaper review. We'll be back after the break.
Naine dake network koto mi yalonko wole warta nyimbanko kang adung adabe soniaring wole nyama. Imuna fang telefono la mi yalonko abe seniaring adung internet wobe tariaring. Nyindung kiusel dorna sinyin nati aleno. Ibori yela kiusel line ota. Customer care mi suti atima. Bi. Kiusel network ko mi warta network ko beti adung adabe soniaring. Kiusel sunu boss. Ntollanga silo walang dulia bulan noma.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Bokal si network bu gëna rëy gëna yombale si réewi Gambia bi fii jëfandikool call bu set internet bu gaaw li yëpp si njëg bu yomba fii si QCell dawal léegi si suñ customer care bu la gëna jege ñu may la QCell line te doo si fay dara QCell network bu gëna rëy te it gëna yombale si réew mi fii QCell suñu bas ñoo xaali yoon bi ñeneen toppa.
These tracks have become my wall, my arena of victory and fear. I relentlessly walk, push, strain, and stretched. Moments when every fiber of my being screams, give up. But the fire within me won't let me quit. Despite the burning muscles, in this sport, every moment matters.
We are back. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now let's move on to the other segment of this program. And we have Honorable Babukar Boy, Minister of Public Service, in the studios. And we'll be discussing with him. And of course, there are a lot of things that are to be looked at as far as his ministry is concerned. So it's good to have you here, Honorable.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes. By the way, you're wearing a very nice haftan. I love it. Very simple and well designed.
Thanks.
Yes. So, I mean, it's the first time to have you on QTV this morning. Is it the first time?
Yes, this is my
your
first
colleague
time.
ministers were here, the likes of Environment. We had the Minister of Information, Gender, they were all here. Even the Minister of Finance was here as well. So it's good to have you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
So what are your top priorities, as far as your ministry is concerned?
Well, the Ministry of Public Service, administrative reforms, policy coordination and delivery is a new ministry that was established in 2022. And the main reason was as a result of the realization that for government to perform, you needed to have a ministry that would sort of pull together what you have in the different ministries in the form of policy, what you also have in the ministries in the form of human resources. Because really, for every policy to be implemented, you need to have the capacity, to do that. And really, a lot of reforms were actually, anticipated and required for that to happen. And that was basically the main reason why the ministry was, established. And as soon as it started operating, I mean, let me just make it clear that I'm not the first minister. There was the Honorable Babukar Juf, who is now the current Minister of Defense, who actually started as the minister. And he, I would say, laid the, foundation for the work that we are currently, engaged in. And the work that we are doing is basically anchored in our civil service reform strategy, which actually is supposed to end in 2027. And basically, we are really looking at how government can, deliver services to the public. And that's why our delivery function is very, very key. So currently, we are actually focusing on each one of those areas, in the area of policy coordination, in the area of, administrative reforms, in the area of, delivery. Each one of them has some key activities that we are undertaking, in fulfillment of that mandate.
Exactly. So how is the ministry ensuring the delivery of, services that will benefit the public?
Well, what we have started doing, on that front, we identified about 5 key services that we felt the majority of Gambians actually need. And they are in the area of acquiring a passport, in the area of getting a birth certificate, driver's license, ID cards, and the other one we included was business registration. And what we did with the ministries, we realized that these are all in different ministries. What we did with the staff in those ministries was to embark on what we call service process simplification. Because the ultimate aim is to get those services digitized and digitalized for people to be able to have easy access to them. But before doing that, you need to look at the current form of those services in their paper-based versions to see whether all the steps that are involved in those services are necessary. So we engaged with the respective institutions responsible for those services, and we really simplified the processes. And we also worked on the digitization. Actually, by now, if it were not for this problem of APS, I'm not an IT expert, but by now, Gambians would have been able to access their birth certificates, through online, process. But we are, getting that sorted out between the Ministry of Health, and, the service provider. So the ultimate aim is to make sure that people have access to these services that government are provided with least time, minimal cost. And the number of times that you would need to go physically to, those places where the services are provided is actually reduced to the barest minimum. In fact, in some instances, we don't even want the individuals to go to those offices. You need not go there, but you will still be able to have access to the
access to it, yes, Mr. Boyce.
Yes, Minister. You said the ministry was established in 2022. I wonder, what difference do you think it has made?
Well, from the feedback that I have received both from my colleagues and even the civil servants, is that they have now seen a point at which any issue that they have, with respect to their ministries pertaining to HR, pertaining to policy matters. In fact, even in the area of policy coordination, which I was going to talk about, the policy making was fragmented. Now we have a policy development framework that we have shared with all ministries. And any ministry that is supposed to develop a policy will be using that framework as a basis so that there will be more coherence, in the way ministries develop their, policies, which should speak to the overall, national development agenda of the government of the day. So really, in terms of building the, foundation blocks that would lead to a more, organized system of policy making, monitoring issues of delivery. I can safely say that our ministry's creation has actually created a difference.
Yes, okay. When it comes to service delivery, is there any measurable improvement in service delivery? How people are experiencing it? The so-called reforms within, how are people experiencing it? Can we measure the outcome? Can we measure the improvements in the service delivery?
Well, as I said, right now, we are looking at the processes,
all right,
which must be improved upon before you, start measuring,
outcomes.
Outcomes.
All right.
But I can tell you, our ultimate aim is to make sure that at the end of the day, in terms of time, for people to access any service, it will be reduced to the barest minimum. You understand? In terms of frequency, because, let's face it, there are certain things I know. If you want to have those services, you will go to the office that is providing it several times, and those are things that at the end of the day we'll measure to see that perhaps if it was taking somebody 10 weeks on average to get a passport, when the system is in place, how long would it take? Obviously, if it does not reduce to a much shorter period, it means that the reform, hasn't worked. But we, are sure that when we have those processes simplified and the system is in place, surely we'll get those things, reduced. In fact, I like giving this example that we are also working on with the Ministry of Lands on leasing. When it was really looked at, we realized that for a lease document to be acquired, you have 83 steps that you need to go through. And it would take, on average, 61 months. And when we discussed with the staff of the Ministry of Lands responsible, we were able to, agree on 23, meaning the 60 will now be out. So when you get to the stage of digitalizing the process, you will not be, sort of digitalizing mess. Because for us, those 60 steps that we agreed that are not necessary, in the IT world, you would consider it as something that is not necessary. It's mess.
That is true, Minister, where it is said that any system, any process is as good as the people.
That's it.
And we have this culture, this service delivery culture, whether you want a passport or birth certificate, you have to go there so many times. Either you know somebody or you have to give kickbacks. When it comes to driving licenses, I don't need to go to anybody to test me. I can just sit where I sit, and there would be a middleman who can bring it for me. How do we break the mold? Well, I know that you're trying to bring in the processes, but again, there will be a kind of mind shift, a mentality sort of shift for us to break that culture.
That I know will take time to remove completely. But what we believe at the level of the Ministry of Public Service is that the more you automate a system, the more you reduce the human, involvement. By that I mean having the provider and the one requiring the service interacting physically. The more you do that, you stand a greater chance of, getting the system, to be more efficient and, removing some of those things that you've mentioned. Because if, for example, you require a birth certificate, and you are told that for you to apply for a birth certificate, you need to submit document X, Y, and Z, all right? And that document is not submitted physically in an office. You scan it, submit it, and somebody on the other side will be going through the system to authenticate your document. I mean, and really, when we get to that stage, the system would now start, capturing how long Mr. Mboj's case has taken. You don't need to, find out from the individual concerned. The system would capture all that. And I can tell you, we are working very closely with the Ministry of Digital Economy. And that was why that ministry was also, established. The IT bits, they are the ones that are actually, taking the lead. But we are working very closely as two ministries with the sole aim of ensuring that the services are delivered better.
So how far have you gone in implementing all this?
As I said, in some of them, the stage we are at is the simplification of the process, and we want to do them in phases. As I said, if it were not for the APS issue that we are sorting out, by now, the birth certificate would have been, could have acquired online, even those outside the Gambia. But that is what held us back. I think it was in August that we wanted to launch it. But because of this APS, because what we are trying to avoid is, if you apply online and everything that you need to, submit, you have, and you don't have the means of submitting that, because the applicant is maybe using a system that would be different from what the service provider has been using. So that was what we discovered, and it's being fixed right now. We cannot wait to see Gambians, benefiting from this. And the other area where we are also, working closely with the Ministry of Digital Economy and the Central Bank is the payment gateway, to make sure that, when you are required to pay for a service, you don't have to withdraw cash and pay. You can use your card, whether it's a QCell wallet or whatever, and then you pay.
Yeah. So what about, what are we doing to address the delay in promotions and pensions as well?
When you say delay in promotions, I would want to say that before you establish that there is a delay in promotion, you must be sure that a vacancy was there without it being filled for X number of years or Y number of years. What I know is, as far as promotions are concerned, if a vacancy exists, it's the responsibility of the ministry or department concerned to submit that case to the Public Service Commission and say, we want person X, Y, and Z to be promoted to position A, B, and C. All right. When it gets to PSC, they now have a very, transparent system where if it requires applying, you will go online and apply. They do the shortlisting, and then you are invited to go and attend the interviews. I know big ministries like education and health and agriculture, people want to be promoted as quickly as possible. But if you are dealing with large numbers, you cannot rush that process. And but I can tell you that with the delegation of the responsibility of recruitment promotion to some of the committees that they have at their level, it's now, you know, I mean, much faster. You know, so really, your statement of delay in promotion, I would say it's relative, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it depends also. You know, if there is to be a delay when it comes to promotion, you know, so, but how are we also monitoring staff performance?
Well, for staff performance, the starting point is always having the deliverables against which you will have to monitor staff performance. And those deliverables, I mean, their determination have to be guided by, you know, a performance management, you know, policy. As we speak, we have validated, for the first time, we now have an overall government performance management policy, which we validated, and it's now being, you know, I mean, rolled out. In that policy, it is clearly spelled out as to how individuals in units can have deliverables that would contribute towards the achievement of the goals of the directorate that they are in, which would also contribute towards the deliverables of the ministry in which that directorate is in, and that is going to be linked to the national development, you know, I mean, goal, as, you know, as far as the national development plan is concerned. So unless you have those deliverables quantified, you know, and in very clear targets, monitoring performance becomes difficult. You will only use the outcomes as a way of determining whether something is working or not, which sometimes takes, you know, I mean, a long time, and measuring it cannot be, you know, easily done. Okay.
So you mean the conditions, really, that should enable us to perform better do not exist?
Well, not in a well-documented form. I know my experience with the time that I spent at the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. We had actually service level agreements that I signed with my minister then. And as PS, the directors signed service level agreements with me. And those staff within those directorates also signed service level agreements with their, you know, I mean, directors. And on a quarterly basis, we were holding performance reviews. I don't know the extent to which that kind of process is in other ministries, but I can tell you that at that time, in the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, we were actually measuring performance through that. And as a Ministry of Public Service, we do not want to leave it to the individual ministries. That's why we came up with this, you know, I mean, government-wide performance management policy, which we just completed and validated.
Yeah. So what are we doing about capacity building?
Well, capacity building, as I said earlier, any system that is to be run has to have people with, you know, the right capacity. We have just concluded what we called capacity needs assessment of the entire system. And it was through support that we got from the World Bank, and a big consultancy firm did it. They have highlighted several areas that require, specialized skills, and those are the areas that we have actually, identified as priority in our training, policy. Until that happens, we are making use of the capacity that, exists. Although I can tell you that we've been affected by attrition. I remember a year into my appointment when we checked the number of people that left for the private sector, and it was about 240 within 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, but in fact, that was one of the reasons why we also had to ensure that we looked at the salary package. And thank God that we have now, achieved, and really compared to then, it's much. We've not got it, actually where we want it, but at least we can now say that anybody who leaves, the reason will not be mainly salary. It may be other reasons. But definitely, the issue of capacity is very important. As I said, we've done this capacity needs assessment, and we also have, through the Office of the Secretary General, communicated to the different permanent secretaries to identify some of their most immediate needs in terms of capacity, and through the training that we coordinate at the level of the Personnel Management Office. That's what.
So how are youth and women, being considered as far as the public sector is concerned?
Well, that's an interesting question. For both of them, they have, I would say, an institutional home. Youth and Sports for the youth, Ministry of Gender for women. But given the cross-cutting nature of their, issues, I can tell you for both ministries, they've come up with policies that have spelled out how respective ministries can, take on board, issues of women and youth. Even for the budgeting aspect, in fact, we have now reached a point where to know how much we are spending on youth matters, how much we are spending on, women matters. We have even, by extension also climate issues. The budget is now going to be, doing classification along those lines for us to know how much, government is spending on. Apart from that, the activities that they are actually, embarking upon, if it is to do with capacity, if it is to do with, requiring the number of personnel, they work very closely with us. But definitely, recently, I think it was a few weeks back, the Ministry of Youth and Sports completed their new youth policy. They are looking at legislation that would now also help them, implement certain aspects of the policy, which their, Sports Council in its present form cannot, do.
Where a ministry or government agency is underperforming, what can you do?
Well, in the ministries, definitely for now, the only should I call it stick that we have is not to, maybe provide you with the request for promotion or request for additional personnel. because, I mean, I'm sure the Ministry of Finance would have been very happy to say to a ministry, we are not going to give you the resources because you are not performing. That's, in fact, the reason why we are definitely working seriously on this performance, management policy, is to get to that stage. Because you will now have the opportunity of linking resources to performance. I'm happy to say that, through the establishment of the State-Owned Enterprise Commission, we have some, SOEs that have had the salaries of their management reduced through non-performance, and others benefiting from, bonuses by surpassing their targets. So in the core civil service, that's where we are also, heading to. But really, if you don't have measurable, targets that you will be holding people, or departments against, it will be difficult to, apply those type of punitive sanctions, to put it that way.
That's it. Would you say that that's one of the biggest obstacles slowing change, reform, delivery?
Of course, I would agree with you. In fact, even in terms of attendance, that's why we, also started, introducing these electronic attendance registers. So that if you are supposed to put in 40 hours in the week, you put in only 38 hours. At the end of the day, when we link the machine to the payroll, you don't get paid for the 2 hours that you did not work. So these are things that we feel we must do to make sure that people realize that it's not just business as usual. In fact, the feedback that I got from my colleagues when we installed these machines some of them told me that it has actually changed the culture of people coming late or leaving early before the end.
Because you need to clock in and clock out.
That's it. And some would always ask, okay, if an individual clocks in and then at 8 o'clock and clocks out at 4 o'clock, how do you know the time that the person has spent, whether it was time worth spending? That's where the performance management, policy and its targets come in. If you are supposed to deliver X number of, deliverables and you cannot, then it means that the time that you have spent in, although it's saying 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, you have not,
But how sustainable is this?
Is what?
Is this clocking and clocking out, considering the public sector, the amount of people that we have, the number of people that we have? Sometimes we can implement beautiful things, but we are not consistent in managing them.
No, you see, it depends on what your ultimate aim is. Because I remember in 2007, when the integrated financial management information system was introduced, there was a reason, because government's, accounts could not be prepared, quickly. That was one of the reasons, and there were many issues surrounding, accounts. But since its introduction in 2007, it's still functioning. And those responsible for the system ensure that at every point in time, you will have people who will run the system. So for us to, we're starting it and rolling it out. The aim is to make sure that it's sustained in the system, because that's the only way we can improve on,
absolutely. Yeah. So, Minister, your final, question: what message do you have for civil servants and the public?
Well, for the civil servants, as I told them when we succeeded in increasing the salaries at the beginning of the year, we've delivered on our part. We are expecting them to also, follow suit. And we will not leave them to just, continue the way they were actually going about their work. We will ensure that, we get the best out of them and make sure that the Gambians benefit from the services that government is providing. And for the public, I just want to say that the moves that we are taking, ultimately, they will see the benefits of an improved, service delivery. It's not an easy task, but we are looking forward to the day when people can sit in the comfort of their, sitting rooms and access services that ordinarily they would have been suffering to get by having to go to, places.
Will you give us a timeline? When should we expect to see?
If the entire process was in my hands, Mr. Boj, I would have told you in the next 6 months. But as I said, that's the constraining factor of, government too. Because there are certain things that you don't have total control over. And even if the money was available right now and we were to, procure the system, your interaction with the GPPA will determine how long it would take for you to get the system. But to be honest, I can tell you, if we do not have any, impediments, as I said, if it were not for this APS issue, by now we would have not been talking about the, birth certificates. And we are going to be doing in phases. So I can safely say that by 2026, we will have some of these services online.
Online.
Yeah, and we will be, continuing because we don't want to start with few and stop with them. At the end of the day, we want, virtually all the services that government is providing.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much. That's Honorable Babukar Boy, Minister of Public Service, talking to us on QTV this morning. So thank you for your time, and we hope to engage you more in the future, inshallah.
Well, anytime I'm needed, like you did this time, just contact me. I don't have a problem coming to share with you.
Thank you.
Some of the things that we are doing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, so viewers, will take a short break. After the break, the program continues. We'll be back.
Gambia, are you ready for something big?
From your trusted GSM operator, QCell, your favorite app just got a major upgrade.
From your phone to the world, buy credit, buy Sunu Bundle packages, loan credit with eFankanta, and buy Q Power all in one place.
And here's the real upgrade. Q Money is now fully integrated in the app. Send money, pay bills, save money, so faster and easier than ever.
And for our entertainment lovers, stream QTV, Q Radio Live anytime, anywhere.
But that's not all. This upgrade also brings enhanced security features, smoother performance, and a brand new interface designed to save your time.
This is more than an app.
This is freedom at your fingertips.
Download the new QCell app today and unlock your digital life.
For more information, call our customer care on 111.
QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Join the biggest network with the cheapest tariff in the Gambia and enjoy crystal clear calls and super fast internet at the cheapest tariff, only with QCell. Rush now and grab your free QCell SIM card today from any of our care centers near you. QCell, the biggest network with the cheapest tariff. QCell Sunubus. We innovate, others follow.
Browse Bitus. QCell brings you a promo like never before. Get unlimited internet for just $25. Yes! Recharge $25 and enjoy the convenience of free internet from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day with our Browse with Us promo. With this amazing offer, you can browse, stream, and download all your favorite movies for free. So why wait? Recharge $25 today and enjoy free internet only with QCell between 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. For more information, call customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Bus, we innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
We are back. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now let's head to the final segment of this program, and it's Sports Wall with Momodu Gajaga. Gaj, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Well,
yes,
it's a pleasure
good to have you here.
Always a pleasure.
Our female Scorpions were in Kenya, and they played against Kenya. Unfortunately, they lost against Kenya. And I am aware now they are in Dakar for a return leg against Kenya. So, what is really going to happen, Gajaga?
Tough game. It's the final and crucial decider. Their return leg against Kenya. Like you said, they lost the first game, the first leg in Nairobi by 3-1. After taking the lead, Fatu Kante, the captain, scored just after 3 minutes of the game. And then Kenya equalized, I think around the 12th minute. And then in the 31st minute, they scored again. And then just before half-time, in added time of the first half, they scored another goal again. And there were no further goals in the second half. They dominated the performance. They're more experienced as far as women's football is concerned, national team level. The Gambia, this is an opportunity for them because this is the last round of qualifiers. They've always had that attempt of getting into the last round of the qualifiers, but still can't break the jinx of making it further to progress for the qualifiers.
According to information that I had, this would have been the first time the Queen Scorpions qualifying for AFCON.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was coming to.
Yes.
Like basically, they always make a way all the way to the last round of qualifiers, but can't progress beyond that stage.
Unfortunately,
they've had it the other time against Nigeria. They've had it against Cameroon, who are top sides when it comes to women's football in Africa. So this time against Kenya, they thought, hopes were very high that they could do it against Kenya over 2 legs. But the first leg, 3-1, they would need to score 2 goals without conceding. That's going to be a very difficult one.
2 goals?
Yeah, 2 goals without conceding. To qualify, because it's, at the end of the day, it's head-to-head. So they're playing against Kenya, the return leg. It's going to be in Chess, Senegal. Because of the stadium issue, we still don't have an approved stadium. So that's why the match is going to be played in Chess, Senegal for the return leg. Yeah. They're still hopeful about their chances of qualification, but very slim. To be realistic, Kenya had a very, very good game. They had a good side, and they would find it very, very difficult against Kenya in that return leg tomorrow.
And they've already played against Gambia, so they will know what the weaknesses are. I mean, Gambia also might learn. You never know. Probably we might win.
Yeah, you never know. Football, you can never say never. But judging by the performance, the level of awareness of football of both teams, the opportunities that are available, because Gambia got their first goalkeeper injured. I don't know how serious is it. Is he going to be ready in time for the return leg tomorrow? They also had one of their flank players who plays in the left wing, Olabuaro, injured as well. They've also had another defender who is also injured in the same game. In fact, he wasn't stretched off, but somebody had to put him on the back and, get him out of the field of play because of the injury. So those players definitely have to recover in time because they're key players in the team. That's why they started. That's why they played in the starting 11. So it's going to be a very tough one.
I think infrastructure is also really affecting our football. It's important for us to look into those things. I mean, you just mentioned our stadium situation cannot allow us to play our home games here. And home games would have been a very big advantage for the Gambia.
Huge advantage, of course. If you're playing home, your supporters are cheering you up, it puts more fire in your belly, and it gives you that energy, that extra mile to go and wanting to win and give your best. But in this case, it's been difficult for both categories of teams in the Gambia: the senior national team men, the under 17, the under 20, the women's team. All can't play their matches at home. Their home matches, they have to choose another venue to play matches. Even not long ago, Real de Banjul, they played in the CAF Champions League preliminaries, but they had to play both legs in Morocco, to the advantage of the team that they're playing against. Asfa is the team that they played against. The first leg, Asfa won by 2 goals, and then the second leg, they won by 2-1.
So someone is asking, why? Do you know why our women are allowed to play in Senegal but not our men?
Well, that's a very difficult question. What I understand is for the men's team, they said because of travel arrangements, if you play the game in Senegal and it's your home game, but let's say the return leg is in 3 or 4 days' time, you have to play, let's say, against South Sudan. The flight connection from Senegal to South Sudan, it takes them like 2 days to get to South Sudan. So they wouldn't have enough rest ahead of the game at some point. But again, using the Senegalese new stadium, Stade Abdoulaye Wade, is expensive. Even the Senegalese national team had to pay when they're playing, like through their football federation. Again, the game which is going to be played in Chess, the women's national team's return leg, that game is not also, that stadium rather, is not approved by CAF for international football at senior level. So the senior national team can only play at Stade Abdoulaye Wade, but not at the Stade de Lat Dior in Chess.
Interesting. So I wish our Queen Scorpions good luck. And we hope they're going to qualify against Kenya. I mean, probably. You never know what will happen. They might go up to 3, Gajaga. I'm hopeful.
We keep hoping.
Gajaga,
yes. What do you think?
The fact that Queen Scorpions have never taken part in WAFCON.
Yeah, WAFCON,
You've called it the jinx.
Yeah.
Or is it we're just not good enough? We're not jinxed. We're just not good enough.
Yes,
because we've not invested in women's
game to a higher level to be able to deserve qualification. That's why they come close, but yet so far.
Exactly.
Yes, to be honest, anytime we get to this final stage, we meet an opposition that is far better than us.
That is far better than us.
That is just the reality.
Well, I think authorities will take a look at women football and approach it seriously. I mean, we've seen a lot of our young women who are very keen when it comes to football. They love it. So I think we need to free up and try to inject these people into the system to make sure we improve what they are doing. Otherwise, we'll keep having disappointments like this.
Yes, football is investment, it's time, it's resources, it's everything. So before you yield the benefits, it takes time. So I think we are in that kind of situation. So if the investment is not right and the environment is not right, the coaching as well. So it's a combination of
it becomes
many
a problem.
aspects.
Gajaga, what happened to Barcelona yesterday?
They were beaten by the better team. Real Madrid had a fantastic game of football.
Didn't Yamal play?
I mean, Yamal played, but he had a quiet game. He didn't have a good game.
A quiet game.
Yeah, a quiet game. No goal, no assist.
Oh, wow.
So players like Kylian Mbappe scored, and also Jude Bellingham scored the second goal, which proved to be the winning goal. Barcelona, at some point, it was 1-1, but Real Madrid definitely had a fantastic
Unfortunately.
There was a battle of Britain going on there between Rashford
and Bellingham.
So Bellingham won.
The Battle of Britain. The Battle of Britain.
So thank you, Gajaga, for talking to us on QTV this morning. And we hope, I mean, the dynamics will change as far as our football is concerned, because there are a lot of things that should be looked at, Gajaga. And you know that better than me. I mean, so that is what it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, Mr. Mboj, this is all we have for this morning. And enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.